You know, you're wondering what I'm gonna talk about. You know, like after watching this video and learning, possibly, will you be able to stop giving a shit about other people's opinions? Your parents scolding? The guilt you feel so long ago, or you felt so long ago? Or for one that isn't not giving a shit? Sort of being an asshole? There's a difference, you know? And I'll give you some examples of what this video will help you with. For one, you're nervous for an exam. You know, what are you gonna get? How well are you gonna do on it? You know? Or what is she gonna say? You know, I can't possibly talk to her. She'll be upset with me. She'll reject me. Or I feel really uncomfortable with my roommate and I want him to change, but I don't know how he's gonna respond. You know, I don't know how he's gonna act. Don't know what's gonna happen. All three of these are focusing on one thing: the result. And for pretty much everything that you do give a shit about, it's about the result of something. And therefore, this video will pretty much help you with everything. As I said, the main common trait between all of these are that they are focused on the result of an action. And that's your mistake right there. It's assuming that you have control over the result of your action. This false sense of control gives you all of your anguish. You cannot believe me, but let's walk through some examples. Right. The first one I said was something about worrying about your exams. Right? Would you still be worried if you didn't care about the result? If you didn't care about your score? Probably not. If you knew you had no control over what you would get, would you be worried at all? Perhaps, but there's something liberating to accepting that you can no longer control something. It's out of your hands. You know, you're not grading it. You can't change your answers anymore. You can't do anything to affect it anymore. And this realization may cause you to worry, but for others, it's liberating, and I'll guide you on how to accept the fact that it isn't in your control anymore. Because the thing with control over everything is that it's false. We very rarely have control over anything at all. And I mean, you might argue that's bullshit. I have control over a lot of things. My body, what I think, what I like, etc. My counter argument is you really don't have any control over any of these things. Your body, you can succumb to disease and be unable to physically move your body whatsoever. And you may be in an accident where your arm was amputated. In addition, what you think is so dependent on your environment and your experiences that they nurture a certain mindset within you. And that determines a lot of what you think. And what you like is basically just an extension of what you think, which once again takes a great part from the environment and your experiences. So being able to stop giving a shit means recognizing what you can or cannot control. When thinking about having a hard time or a hard chat with a friend, you know, you can't control the thinking whatsoever. You can say, therefore I can control what I do, and therefore I don't talk to him, you know? And yet, that makes you miserable because of the guilt and other negative emotions that comes with it. And then all you're doing is running from that fear. That fear of what he's gonna say, the reaction, the result, that fear. You're running from it. And the mindset change instead is recognizing that you can't control this. You can't control the outcome. And this allows you to overcome the fear instead. By recognizing that you can't control the outcome and that you can only control your actions, that you can only do the best that you can do. You can't control how good someone else does in their life. You can only do what you do. That's all you can do. It's a lot of dudes. But some other advice is that some people tell you that you shouldn't care about what other people think, and this is used like if you're too embarrassed to go to the gym or like do certain things in other public settings. I mean, I agree with this. You really shouldn't, but you do. Right? You do. And caring about what other people think is so ingrained into our DNA, because if we were like excluded from the tribe 10,000 years ago, that would have meant certain death. And so in that aspect, exclusion means physical death. Well, nowadays there's too many people on the planet to give a shit about you. You are 1 in 7, approaching 8 billion people on Earth. 99% of the planet doesn't know who you are, doesn't care about who you are, doesn't care if you even exist, doesn't even know if you exist, doesn't care about you. That person across the street, maybe he or she knows who you are, maybe he or she knows you exist, but probably doesn't give two shits about you. And for the most part, I think many people just tell you, stop caring what people think, without a real reason behind it, without a why. You know, like, you're just left like, okay, but why, sort of, like just telling me doesn't give me, like, enough, like, I can't just do it because of that. You know, I need something more than just not caring. And it's with the mindset that you can't control what other people think. That gives you the why. Because you can't control what other people think, stop caring what they think, because you can't control it. And I think there's plenty of other tips to remember, but I don't think they really help you nearly as much as the one I'm giving to you. Sure, logically you can know them, but I don't think they will do much. Like, knowing that people don't care about you is good and all, but does it really change your behavior? Does it spur you to go to the gym? No, because you have some irrational fear, right? The thing with having a mindset change is that you surrender control over things. You no longer need to worry about things that you can't do anything about anymore. So why worry? And of course, the difficult thing is remembering in the midst of it. Sure, you can like cognitively agree with me that, you can't control a lot of things. You can cognitively agree with this revelation, right? But is it likely that you remember it the next time you're facing some difficulty? Probably not. And to that, I would say, first practice. Getting used to telling yourself what is in your control, what is not in your control. The Stoics thought that the only thing you can control is your mind. And to be honest, even that isn't really exactly in your control, because you can always develop some disease like dementia, which will basically get rid of control over your body and your mind. Not very nice. So perhaps you don't actually have any lasting control over anything. Actually, maybe you do. You have control over the fact that you will die. That is one thing you can absolutely control. You will die one day. I mean, it's not really something you can control, though, because you will die whether you control it or not. Whether you control that belief or not. You'll simply die. So maybe you can't control anything. Enough with the philosophical, BS. You can reasonably control your body. You can reasonably control your mind. You can reasonably control your actions, and that's all you need. And so while you do things, think about what you can control. Do you have control over the weather? It's raining? No, I don't have control over the weather. So why get upset? There's no reason to. It's not like I can do anything about it. And it's through practicing on the small things, and eventually bigger things, and eventually onto challenging things that you can't do right now. That's when you can utilize it, when you've practiced all the way there, and you've evolved.